With Gabby Petito, where I just allow her to share what she wants to share at this time. And I just interpret and try to do the best job I can with what I know of the cards and using my intuition. And I ask that the Most High guide and assist so that I can read accurately and clearly as much as possible, and in conveying what Gabby Petito wishes to share. And that means I'm not going to direct this reading with a question other than what would she like to share, which can actually make reading a little difficult because the question often gives you context. And this way I just have to look and see what she's wanting to try and talk about, if it's clear enough to me or not. And I might have to, reshuffle. Sometimes that happens, but let's just go ahead and try. I'm using the Star Tarot. So I'm reaching out, and I had asked earlier if she would be interested. And I got very positive cards that made sense, that she says that there's things we don't know that she wants to share about with regard, it looked like, to her relationship with Brian. So I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll see whatever, she wants to relate. Let me just get a sip of my coffee. And I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. Or whenever it is that you happen to catch this. Okay, so Gabby Petito, what would you like to share? I'm just here to share your information, share your message. I wish to give you a voice through the cards, and I ask that our spiritual mentors, our guides, our helpers assist us through the use of these cards and my intuition to please help me to make sure that I read as accurately and as clearly as I can, though I am a flawed human vessel. Okay. I'm picturing Gabby. I love her face. I think a lot of us really are drawn to her because we could relate. Many of us have been in relationships that were toxic and dangerous. I have yet to share my own account, which I think is important because there's still a lot of young people, no matter how they identify, that end up in very toxic relationships. And a lot of people die. It's we need to make people more and more aware at a younger age, especially, about identifying somebody that is an unhealthy person for them, or anyone. Okay. So Gabby is a Pisces. I just said her in the present term because I feel that she's I feel like she's around me. I do. It's kind of oddly quiet in my noisy house. I'm sure that'll change soon. Of course, I had a tickle and I had a cough. Sorry. Where I live, it's very temperate, and my allergies are horrible. I know people here that have to get injections for, like, to last them a couple months. It's just that much, constant pollination going on. And anyhow, so pardon the scratchy voice and all that you constantly hear. All right, Gabby. We would like to know what you would like to share with us. We would like to know anything that you feel like you want to share. A lot of us can relate to you and to your situation, and we were horrified and hurt and still are. This has really affected people world over. And I think it's because we can identify with being naive, we can identify with being in a toxic relationship, and for those of us that were lucky enough to get away, it hits close to home. And I think that's why so many people are just riveted by this case, because it's personal. It is personal. She may not be our blood daughter, but she truly is everyone's daughter. And so are the women of color and the people of color that I cover. They're someone's children too. So I want to, not only in covering Gabby's case, but hoping that, like her, that it'll shed light on other cases. So let's just see what Gabby Petito. Gabby, what would you like to share? What is your message for my viewers and anyone who sees this video? What is it that you're wanting to share? Okay. So pardon any stomach growling, any background noise. Let's just see what Gabby Petito wishes to share with us. Okay. She's talking about violence with the Five of Wands. And I'm going to use a Celtic cross. And I'm going to take my time with this, so that I can really try to relay a thorough message. Okay. Crossing. She's talking about something that's very quick and that's sudden and swift with the Knight of Swords. And this is in a challenging position. And I think what she's indicating here is that he attacked her she's talking about, I think, the attack. And I think he attacked her so quickly that she couldn't respond. I think she's saying she didn't see, it's not like she didn't see it coming, but she, when it happened, when it began to happen, I think he snapped. And I think she may have thought things were cool, or settling. I think it may have been something like that. There's a feeling like that, of like, okay, you thinking somebody might be starting to calm down a bit, or because I get that they were arguing. Okay. This really, she's saying, is based on her independence and her joie, de vivre. I really ham-handed that one in French. But her joy of life, her love of life, and her happiness and contentment in nature. We're shown the card of an independent woman that's confident and very comfortable, very talented, very capable, and who I believe had she lived, would have been very successful with social media blogging and as a personality. It's just too bad that she was with him. So she is saying that fighting, maybe she's talking about the fight and his, and he was very sudden. You get that, it's like a sudden, really, I feel like nasty argument. And I think she's indicating that it correlates with what she was doing or trying to achieve, which was independent creation of video and vlogging and entertainment. It's so much more, and she would have been very good at it. Would have been very good at it. She had so much talent and so much skill, creatively, multi-talented is what I'm getting here as I open up. He couldn't take that. Just like a lot of us have said, it was her independence and actually her ability to succeed, I think, that he was jealous of. He was jealous of it he lacked it in himself. And rather than learn from her, I'm getting this like a download, you guys, so I have to go with it. So I think she's communicating. And rather than learn from her and learn to be less inhibited and less insecure. I mean, it wasn't that Gabby wasn't insecure, but she was more willing to, she was more brave, frankly, and less fearful, more willing to try. And I think she tried to encourage that in him, but I think he couldn't help with his childish, and I think he stunted in some kind of way, couldn't handle it. His ego was threatened by this. And I think it has to do with narcissism. And this is all alleged, of course, for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes with the use of cards. But this is what I am getting, that she is talking about her love of nature, her love of trying to do what she was doing with the vlog is the reason that I think she's showing us his violence queued up, ramped up with this. Now let me get in the crowning card, the Empress. This is her abundant gifts and her love of nature, Mother Nature, her own femininity, her confidence in her own femininity, the strength of her as a woman threatened him. And her creativity and her ability, like I was saying, to take the chance and not remain insecure and just keep things being a pipe dream, but to make it happen, to manifest. Her creative abilities and success as a woman threatened him. Her confidence that was growing from doing this threatened him, is what she's saying to me. Okay, now we're going to go to the recent past. Oh boy, there's the Five of Swords. This is the bully. This is the violence. And this is a sense of futility often connected with this card. It's a card of defeat, but it's a card of somebody that likes to make you feel like you really lost. They want to rub your nose in it. They're kind of a nasty winner. So they're cruel. It's somebody that's got a mean streak. A nasty temper and a nasty insecurity. Mean when you get this. And I just keep... Gabby's giving me like the thing again and again of her friend. I cannot get it out of my head right now. And I'd kind of forgotten about it. So I definitely feel like, because you guys know me, I can be a little bit flaky sometimes. I don't mean to be, but I got a lot of balls in the air, okay? So she reminded me of a quick clip I caught of, I believe, an Instagram of one of her known friends, established friends, who was saying that they remember pulling up in their vehicle, maybe to where Gabby and he were living there in Florida, and seeing him slapping her. Straight up outside, right? That's what the friend was saying. It was like there he was slapping the SH, beep out of her, quote unquote, is what she said. And unfortunately, that was it. There was no, other information that the friend gave, and it was a very brief clip. But that just keeps coming up to me. So that was kind of something that was very sadly confirming that I thought, where I said, was this an ongoing, already established pattern? Or was, I thought, maybe something that was building up as they were traveling. And I had gotten that it was an established pattern. And when I heard that yesterday, that was confirmation that it was an established pattern, that a friend had eyewitnessed this behavior going on with him, in his hands in her face, outside as she was pulling up. Bold as brass. What was he doing there in Utah? That the caller called in, the same thing. So this was an established pattern. And I think the choking was an established pattern. And that's what I'm saying. Not only just the general violence of the slapping, but I think choking. She's giving the card of the bully to him. And she's saying that when he does when he gets violent, he's very sudden. He strikes. I think there's a quiet or a moment, and then I think he just, loses it and assaults. There's a feeling like that, and I've gotten that routinely. And then when I heard about the restaurant, which I believe was probably the kickoff, it really made me understand how nasty Brian's temper was, how vicious. If you've ever had a loved one embarrass you in public making scenes, it's the worst. She's talking about abandonment, how he left her outside. Just left her there and neglected to do anything appropriate, anything thoughtful. Just left her there. She's talking about him leaving her out there in the open as well. the way he did, for just without a care, for animals to scavenge and insects to do their bit. And she's tying it back in with that bully card in the past. And you notice I feel like this is also the driving, him taking the van and going and leaving her there. She's also talking about him routinely abandoning her. Now, we know that now, but this is the card of abandonment. And I feel like she gives us the fighting card. Hold on. Sorry, guys, it is bad today. I've just taken more antihistamine. Okay, so we know that he's in the habit of constantly locking her out of her car, telling her to calm down. I don't think that it was like trying to get her to calm down. I think it's more of he was locking her out of the only place of safety that they both shared for his own selfish desire to be alone. You know, he couldn't share that space with her. And he was in the habit of leaving her and abandoning her. And she's talking about him doing that. And it being part of the nasty, mean-spirited, conflicted, disturbed mentally, because this is air. The swords are air, and this is mental energy as well with the swords. And to me, she's also saying he's damaged. There's something, and no kidding, you know, I've said this before, but there's something this kid's seriously sick. Very violent. And he wouldn't do this but to a female. He wouldn't do this to his friends. But she's definitely indicating misogyny. And a woman that knows her own mind and is successful, is abundant and secure and strong. Couldn't handle that. And if you can't handle that, my God, you cannot live in this world. You have been, and I think his parents have created someone who can't function in this world. They didn't get him, or maybe he wasn't able, I don't know, himself also. It's not just their fault, but he may not have been capable of, I think, doing much about being a narcissist. But if they would have gotten him some kind of treatment or care early, there may have been a difference. I don't know. Maybe they tried. I don't think so. I think this is something, just like they're hiding him now, I think they hid or tried to hide about him or keep private. I think she's also talking about his mother here and her mother, and them assisting him to abandon her. They knew that she was laying out there, I'm getting from her. They knew I was laying out there. And they kept this up. They allowed me to lay out there like that, she says. She's angry about it. And that's why she's saying he was not capable of dealing with reality. A real, healthy, strong young lady that was good-hearted, with the Empress also, empathetic. I think Gabby was super empathetic. As a Pisces, You bet. I've got a Pisces moon and rising, so I can empathize. Let me just get that. Sorry if this makes some pleasant noise, but okay. She's talking about needing moderation, needing mediation, moderation. There are too many extremes in a variety of different means that are incorporated to bring balance. I'm sorry, that's my stupid stomach. It's awful every time I go to film. But she's kind of laughing at me. That's kind of, I've never had that feeling before of when I'm reading on somebody. That's funny too. That's nice. And let me just take a moment to say, her energy is very much like this. Oh my God, you guys, the wings, of course. She's acknowledging the mural. My gosh. She's giving me also to know that she is going to be helping others that are in a situation like she was and trying to help them. Both that make it out and that don't make it out. She's like a spiritual mentor. She's going to be doing that work. And she already is. She's begun, and there's going to be more cases that I think will come more front and center than they normally would have as a result of her case highlighting domestic violence. But I also saw that there's an artist that is painting a mural. I think where Gabby or maybe the area there, maybe in the Grand Tetons, I'm not sure. But there's an artist that is a lady who is making a really beautiful painting, mural of Gabby with colored wings, and she's going to incorporate, she was saying, Gabby's own artwork into the wings, and she's going to replicate it. So I want to share that with you all. And that was a little clip I caught last night too. And I thought, oh, that's really positive. So it's important also when you're reading on these cases, whether you're just reading as the articles or reading with cards or both, you need to also look for the positives. Then make sure you read about them and bring that into your mind and your consciousness so that you don't get overwhelmed with the sorrow. You know, it is balance. It is moderation. It is not one extreme or the other. Which tied in neatly with her card. And this is what her mind is on. Okay? Her mind is on bringing things to balance, bringing herself to balance, bringing her case to balance, and helping others bring their lives to a better balance. Now I really feel like I'm channeling her. She feels very hurt by what he did, very hurt by the family. She's proud of her own, of course, and very I think, overwhelmed and touched deeply by the love that she really can feel from us radiating toward her. And that's why so many of us were like, those of us who have even a streak of empathy, were like, Gabby Petito, why am I thinking about this? Why is this case grabbing me so much? And part of it's also because she's a Pisces, and I think she had very strong ability empathically, naturally. And that's why a lot of us, like myself, I wasn't going to cover her because I saw everybody else covering her, and I just thought, well, I don't want to be salacious. I want to be very, thoughtful with the number of readings that I do. I don't want to overdo. But she was like, she kept at me. And now I know, and I'm like, okay, all right. It's like she was so, I saw in the cards, excited to have this chance. And I think that's one of the reasons why, why the cards are so tight, why they're so meaningful and make sense so easily. She's really present for it. She's on a new path. And she's also talking about her own naivete and the journey that they were on, that they were traveling. And she's indicating she knew he was vicious, but she didn't realize, I think, how much until they took that trip. I do think that trip ramped up what was already not a great thing going on and made it worse. It was concentrated because they're sharing this one space of this van. It's not like somebody can go stay in a hotel room. And, well, Brian did, didn't he? Yeah. Gabby slept in the van. Oh, it just infuriates me. But she is talking about the vlog, the traveling, being naive. This was supposed to be an adventure. This was supposed to be fun, she's saying, That she is shocked that this happened to her. Despite the fact that she was, she's got battered women syndrome, or she had it. And I think that confirms that. She was very, very young. And I think she was she's saying, foolishly optimistic with him. Also. She's talking about the gamble in the environment as well, because the Fool is where you take a risk, you take a gamble. And she didn't think that this was going to turn out this way. But she's also, I feel like, hinting at Brian and his current journey, now that he's out there staying out in the wild, like, oh my God, she's bringing in the fact that now he's taking the journey that we were supposed to have. But he's killed me. She's shocked. She still can't, believe that. And she's definitely angry. She was going to really excel with that life. And then to be left out there, that he left her like that. Again, she's going back to him, that he left me like that, just exposed. No effort or display of any remorse. No covering up the face or... I don't know if she was... I don't know if she was face up or face down. I know if she's face down, that would be even more disrespectful. But she's talking about, she's not happy about that at all. Who could blame her? But like she's saying, he couldn't even show me. Here we were supposed to be, married, fiancés. And he couldn't even show me basic decency. In fact, he kills her. So I think she's still very stunned. And now she's on a new journey, also on the other side, she's saying, and she's learning new things there. And I really pick that up when I start to feel around the field of stars here, and it makes me feel like other realm, that she's traveling other realms. That's so interesting. She's, picking up again about now he's taking the trip he didn't want to take by himself. But she's definitely indicating, and has indicated to me in the past, that his mother, she's furious with this. She is not happy with his mother. Has been helping him because she feels that it's not actually helpful to Brian, and it's certainly, never mind, disrespectful and insulting to her and her family, but it's not even good for him, as I've said before. But that's the whole problem. She's saying that's how they raised him. He's been sheltered. He cannot function, and she's saying if they can stop his parents from assisting him, he's not going to be able to last as long. She's saying, I just got that right now, and of course that makes sense. But that's what she's just used my speech for. Because I'm opening up to her ideas, just giving them voice. Sorry, I've got a squeaky allergy voice, Gabby. Her energy is like sunlight. I mean, she's definitely sad. She's definitely got the trauma that she's still processing. But overall, she's got a very strong energy. And she would have to have the impact that she's had with her case. She's so relatable, and you just want to protect her. And she needed protecting. It's just a shame that she didn't get that. Because she was too far in. And when you're in a relationship with people like that, she wants me to explain this. As somebody that's also been in a relationship when I was young, after a while, you get kind of confused. And you get confused, and you need to physically be separated from that person and not have any contact from them, with them, for like weeks to finally kind of come out of the brainwashing. Because that's what it is. People that are especially narcissistic will brainwash other people and befuddle and gaslight them and confuse them into thinking that they love them. And it's really easy if you're empathic to an empathetic to be guilted. And that's what happened to me. I got guilted. And I think Gabby may have been similar. I think she may have thought of like, is this worth it? I just saw a flash of light. That's crazy. Okay. I don't normally get that kind of phenomena, but I just got that in my left eye. It wasn't there. I got cars going by, but it wasn't like I know the difference between like from the glass and the window. It's not that. I get this phenomena sometimes when there's a spirit around. Okay. This is the hopes and fears card that she's bringing in. And she's talking about she just wanted a love relationship. She just wanted to be loved. I totally get it. So did I. Yeah. And that's why that person would at times show you great love. That's just it, hot and cold with him. I think he could be, as equally nasty as he could be. He could, I think, be in turn very tender towards her. And that's what's so damn confusing if you're in a relationship with somebody that's sick with narcissism. And the thing is, that's not something that can be changed, really. That would take a narcissist being self-aware. And they might be self-aware, but I don't think they're going to be, but the thing is going to be really challenging for them to fight their own nature. They're just not wired that way. So she's saying, she wanted to get married. She wanted to be in love. And she wanted to have this romantic adventure. Who wouldn't? It's a great idea. She had a great idea. It's just sadly he was not strong enough to do it. I had this one boyfriend of mine, this one ex-boyfriend of mine. he got to where we wouldn't go out. He didn't want to take me out to public places anymore because, quote unquote, I was going to meet somebody else and dump him. And I said, that's ridiculous. Come on, I'm getting tired of us just going to your house or staying, at the apartment where me and my mother and I lived. And it comes on, and it over time, it's kind of like being the frog in the pot. You're cooking before you realized it, And I think he was much the same. He couldn't handle it. He's too fragile. Brian's too fragile to deal with day-to-day stuff. He's got to fake it because he can't take it. He gets in a snit. And when he loses his stuff, he really loses it. 5 of Swords. And he's very emotionally based, of course, too, with the water, being a water sign. And she's pointing back to the 3 of them. And I just got the word, the 3 of them. That's Brian and his parents. Making it possible. Look at the nest with the eggs. Wherever he's nestled nested up, and is nesting, his parents are fueling him and getting him and keeping him, I think, topped up. I think from time to time, somehow they top him up with his needs in some way. I think they figured out how to do it. There might be a proxy or several proxies that they're using to fund him or to assist him, then dropping and leaving items off in a location for him to pick up. They know where he's at. They know the general area. They can coordinate. And this is talking about collaboration. So she's saying there's collaboration. I wonder if she's going to let us know if they're going to... Gabby, I'd love to know if they're going to go to see legal action for this. She's talking about the vehicles, the traveling. They've assisted him, again, to negotiate around law enforcement and the public. It is through their assistance, she's really stressing this, that the law enforcement, if the state won't step in, then the federal FBI should step in, because their assistance is prolonging this situation. It is draining on our various border state, also departments. This should not, he's a spoiled brat. This is enough. They need to cut the line, pull mama's tit away, basically, excuse me, from baby, and see how long he lasts. The fact that the state makes family basically being able to in a bed to a certain degree without being charged, unless it's a really extreme case. Well, I think this is an extreme case. This kid's been, he should be behind bars. Their local PD really flubbed this up. But she's letting me know that's extremely important that be stopped. The federal law enforcement needs to step in and stop them from being able to so easily continue this. This goes on into the near late, further into the future. And she's saying it's going to last a little longer because the society's going to have to get outraged enough to say, hey, Florida, you got to make them understand that that no more of this, you got to allow some kind of federal enforcement to step in and say, okay, there are things we can do to stop this. That's what I'm getting from her. She's furious about this. She's furious about it. I want to ask her too, Gabby, do you haunt his dreams or haunt him at all? Here she's talking about them abetting and aiding him. It's also to do, I feel like, with regards to her and him, that they are helping him. Ace of Wands. There's a choice, though, that's going to have to be made. That's what's coming up with the Lovers. And it is a course of action with a new set of activity. Maybe this will be a new set of activity that's responding to them assisting him. I hope so. This is very energetic. Knight of Wands. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles. This is something that's happening over and over again that I think is sustaining him physically. Could be food drops, like I said. It's a variety of ways that they're helping him. And this is their activity. Okay, I'm getting it. This is their activity and meeting points. I think they meet him. They should be tailed. 24/7. I believe that there's somebody that's meeting up with him, with the family and connected to the family, that assists him. And that's been going on. And it's going to take, Gabby's saying, it's going to take enough with society getting upset about this, because when's enough? How long do you going to let him do this? Are all these other states going to be willing to allow this punk to drain their resources for other cases? She says the Two of Pentacles. Here we get the polar opposites message again, and we get extremes. And he's deteriorating, I think, longer that he's out there. I feel like the mood swings become more pronounced, is what I get. Yes, and active. Look at that. So we're talking about ratcheting up instability. We're talking about ratcheting up of extremes. She's saying the longer he is out there, the worse he's going to get. And they are going to, it looks like, because I guess Florida is going to be Florida. And I don't mean to be down on somebody's home state, but this reminds me too much of Casey Anthony and a lot of that crap, and it makes me angry. And I think it's a stupid law that family can get away with a certain amount of aiding and abetting. That's a crooked law for crooks. Do better, Florida. Eight of Wands. Yeah, he's just going to become more extreme. It's not good for him. This is also activity picking up on him on the move. And I feel like foot. I feel like he's this way hauling butt. Really hauling butt, too. Because that Eight of Wands is activity. I get... So it looks like they're going to make another drop here for him in the near future. He gets topped up and takes off and goes further out. And right now I pulled some cards about whether or not he would be in Florida or not, and I got no. I get that he's a little bit further out, so I do think he's out there somewhere on the Appalachian Trail. But Gabby's saying he's becoming more unstable. Sorry, that's my idiot neighbors out there. Here we have the sun. We're getting exposed. And the Hierophant. He's going to get exposed. Look at this thing with the Hierophant, this labyrinth. It's like a trail to me. This could be a park ranger because it feels like it's somebody that has like a job that's specific, you know, and it helps the public. Maybe it's someone like that. Not law enforcement, but like somebody that enforces codes, you know, like a law, like a park person. They might spot him, or they might see him, maybe on a camera footage or something like that. Somehow, I think on that trail, he's going to be seen, or some trail, someplace. There's exposure. And I think a park ranger will notice it or be in contact about it. If he's on the move, that would make sense, wouldn't it, back here? So I think Gabby's telling us that his parents top him up, and what she's saying is that he's becoming more unstable, and he's going to feel pretty confident. He's got these mood swings of highs and lows, and I think she's indicating he's on foot here, and he might be seen when he's, after he's been topped up and he's trying to get moving again. Maybe once he receives his topping up, maybe he's going to cross paths with an official or a camera or something that exposes him. That's what I feel like Gabby's saying. Okay, what else, Gab? A Knight of Pentacles. Ooh, and the Tower. So this slow, steady, day in, day out pattern of where the heck is he that we've all been waking up to every day, and him too, him doing this day in, day out. It's steady, repetitive. It's going to get interrupted. And that comes right on the heels with the sun. That makes sense. So she's saying he's going to get caught. I think by cameras, or maybe even by direct witness of I think somebody connected that's an official, maybe to parks or something like that, along a trail or something along this lines. And this is sudden. So it makes me feel like, here we go, day in, day out. We don't, we get kind of numb, so that I think that once he does get found, after being topped up by his parents, and he gets going again, and he crosses paths with either a camera or a park ranger, somebody, it's going to be a sudden change. It's going to be a game stopper. The tower is a game stopper. And that's where all the BS gets hit by lightning and is in disarray and in ashes around you. And you talk about exposure with the sun. This is, yeah, there's no way to hide. So this makes me feel like she's saying, you can run, but you can't hide, Brian. Because she's saying you're going to be found no matter what you do. It's just a matter of when. So she's looking at a future run that they make for him. It looks like to me of refreshing him, topping him up. Him, then it looks like we get cards of him being like energetic, ready to go. He's got all his stuff. And moody and moving. Moody and moving. And then he cross paths, is seen and is stopped, I think, or will be. And then we have the Six of Cups, which is about the past. There's a sense of nostalgia and about the Princess of Pentacles. This feels a lot like a child. I get it. Okay. I think he kind of he's going to be stunned. And I'm getting that he could withdraw back kind of into himself. To like the childhood memory. There's memories. So there's a lot about memories here. This could be somebody that remembers that they saw something or is looking through their pictures and they see something as well. That's a possibility with these cards. Maybe they see Brian in the pictures again. Here's the Eight of Swords. This is some kind of restraint or confinement. And a Princess of Cups. And she's talking about herself now. She's saying that she didn't realize how much he was taking away her joy and her good moods. That she had to tiptoe around him so much and use this restraint. I don't think that she realized until being on the other side also how much of that sparkle she was losing. Okay, I'm going to make a second part because this has gone to an hour already, and I want to ask her if she's haunting him and see what she says. So I will end this video here as Deep Dive Part 1.